Cool. That's done. All right. Story time. Yeah, so this is like my fourth time been to Vegas. A lot of the other times, every other time I was with like a group of friends that uh I like being around, but I think it might have like restricted the experiences or types of experiences that I could do in Vegas. And I had planned on the entire reason why I went to this convention is because everybody I knew was like, "Oh, we're not going to do FC, which is the San Jose convention that's usually in January. We're not going to do FC. Everyone's doing Sin City Mercon, which is the Vegas one I just went to. They're like, everyone's doing that instead." So I was like, "Okay, well, I'll plan for this one instead." So I planned for it. I got my tickets and everything, and plane tickets, blah blah blah. And then like one by one, like all my friends started canceling. It was so weird. And so I went there basically just knowing my boyfriend, and then some of his friends like happened to be there. Um, but it actually worked out really well. It was actually kind of for the better because it was less people to have to herd around, and I'm like very organized person. I like to plan ahead. And so in the same way that I can schedule out like all those movies I see for a film festival and juggle a billion different projects at once, in the same way that I do that, that's how I plan my vacations because I like to be able to experience a lot of things. I don't want to just, like, I can have a day that's set aside for just chilling. I usually don't plan anything for like the last day of the vacation just to like settle in, but um if you're only there for a short amount of time, and especially because we were there for a convention, I didn't want to have one of those things where it's like, I didn't want to have one of those things where it was like, okay, well, my boyfriend's never been in Vegas before. There's a lot of things I want to do in Vegas, but it's at a convention, so we don't want to just be like, oh, we're at the convention the whole weekend and not do any Vegas shit. So we plan to do some things for the first 2 days. So we arrived on the Wednesday. The convention didn't start until the Friday. We arrived at like 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. And so I had, as soon as we got there, let's see if I look in my notes just to remind myself of what I did because there were so many things that we did. Yeah, so we showed up. We were like slightly early for our check-in. And so we had like 40 minutes to like walk to a dispensary that was close by, a weed dispensary, because it's legal there right now. I know it's legal in Canada also, but we checked out a tapas place called Firefly, and some of the things on their menu were really, really, really good. We later that night we did Cirque du Soleil. We saw the show Ka. It was dope. There was an incredible set. It's worth it just for the set. Yeah, those must have been hydraulics, but like the set design and then what they do with the set is like incredible, like absolutely incredible. I still think I preferred the Michael Jackson one for one reason. Well, I mean, a couple of reasons. Is because I don't think that Cirque du Soleil, based on what I saw from Ka, now I've only really seen two of them in Vegas, so I don't really think that Cirque du Soleil, based on what I've seen from Ka, is great at like the whole storytelling aspect. And with Ka, that was like half of it. The Michael Jackson shit, it was kind of like they were like individual skits because of what song was playing. Maybe they would try to tell like a different story based on like what the song is. It was like everything's different per song. But in Ka, they were trying to tell like one continuous story. I was like, I don't really care too much about that. Like, I want to see people doing flips and shit, Oh yeah, the Michael Jackson one was great. But yeah, I'll check out. I'll check out the O, which is really interesting. And then I was like thinking of the Beatles, but I was like, I don't really know if I want to. I wasn't really feeling the Beatles, and I didn't really want to like, go to like the whitest one possible. So anyway, Ka was like, it was really cool. And oh yeah, my other issue with it was like, I have like an ear for music stuff, and I don't like hearing synthesized cello. I don't like hearing like kind of cheap, shitty sounding synthesized instruments for like a show that I'm seeing in Vegas. I would like to if they recorded an actual orchestra, because you're paying a lot of money per ticket and it's in Vegas and there's a whole like every other aspect of the production is like, wow, there's a lot of shit that went into this. And then the music was like, okay, some of it's like well composed, I guess, but like, why are you using synthesized cello? Why are you using like you're not using real instruments? Like that's kind of lame. How much per ticket? It depends on where you were sitting. It was as low as like $50 per ticket, I think, if you got like some of the shittier seats. It only went as high as like I don't know 120 or something, but they do these shows like every day. It seems. Anyway, yeah, that's an issue I had. Obviously, that was not an issue in the Michael Jackson songs one because they were just playing Michael Jackson songs. Right after that, right after the show ended, literally within minutes of the show ending, I got a text from Hell's Kitchen, which we had made reservations for like way late in the night because that's all we could get on short notice. I made the reservations like 5 days before. I should have done it earlier. But literally, as soon as we get out of the show, I get a text saying, your table's ready, even though the table was ready like 2 hours early. It's like, oh, are you on the way? And I was like, okay, yes. And so we got to do that early. So that just happened to work out like perfectly in time. We went to Hell's Kitchen. We got the things from the show. we got the we got the beef Wellington. We got the lobster risotto, and we got the scallops. No, they weren't filming anything while I was there. Don't worry. That would have been cool. But the beef Wellington was fucking awesome. Loved it. Very, very soft. Beef Wellington was like a 9 out of 10. The risotto, lobster risotto, that was the best risotto I've ever had. That was like a 10 out of 10 risotto. The scallops, fucking, I don't know, 5 out of 10. They were like really underwhelming. The scallops were like, they were cooked really well, but like, I've had like tastier scallops at home, you know? The scallops were like really, like, they were presented nice, but it was almost kind of pretentious. And it was like, okay, this is like overpriced. You're not getting a lot of bang for your buck. You know, there's like 5 scallops and like some potato and like some drizzle or whatever. And it was just like, not, yeah, it was like really, the taste wasn't anything special. It was really underwhelming. The other 2 items were awesome. I don't know, at least 6 out of 10 for this guy. But then the price, like, you gotta factor in the price. It's like, it's kind of 5 out of 10, yeah. Like, you could get so much better scallops in many other places. I wasn't a big fan of the scallops. But yeah, the other 2, dope. Their cocktails were really good. At least 7 out of 10 on the cocktails. So yeah, we did that. We went to bed. I went and met up with someone for a project I can't talk about. I've been asked not to talk about. It's something that I filmed something that might get released in years or something. I don't know. Don't worry about it. And then so we had things that were booked for this is February 3rd, this is this Thursday or whatever. We had things that were booked for this day based on 2 really, really great friends that I love. They were planning on flying in at around noon this day, but then they missed their flight because, I don't know, they're dumb. I love them, but they're not dumb. They made a really dumb decision by not getting up earlier. They said that apparently everything that could have went wrong went wrong. So I guess their Uber went the long way. They were just, didn't get out of the door in time. They took one of these like side airlines. It was like Spirit Airlines or something. It wasn't like one of the main ones. And so they had less time than they thought they would have for like cut off time and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they missed their flight. They fucked up. Then they looked at the prices for like making up for it. Like, oh, let's come in tomorrow maybe. And they just decided, okay, yeah, we're just going to cancel our trip. That's too expensive. It's not going to work. And it was like, ah, shit, that sucks. So I was really looking forward to seeing them. That was like a big reason why I went to the convention. But didn't ruin everything. The big thing that we had to figure out, yeah, so the big issue with them not arriving is that I had booked an escape room, the Saw escape room, Saw Lionsgate horror film escape room, and it needed a minimum of 4 people if you wanted to do it with your own group. And I booked this like again like 5 days ago, and we had like a pretty tight packed schedule. Saw escape room, and then did a reservation at a place called Momofuku, and then tickets to Jackass 4 later in the night. And these were all like bang, 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 like one after the other because I'm crazy and I like to have efficient trips. And I like to just run. I like to, I like to plan things properly and have a little bit of breathing room, shit happens room in between, and experience the most out of a city that I can. Anyway, so the entire day I was messaging around people, and I didn't know anybody at the convention. So this was like really hurting because we couldn't find anybody who wanted to come to the escape room with us. So I was like, ah, shit, what are we gonna do? And so like literally like the whole day on my phone, like, what are we blah, 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 blah. Until finally, I don't know if some of you noticed on my Twitter, I finally tweeted out, hey, are any of my fans near the Vegas Strip right now? There's a thing, I have extra tickets to an escape room if you want to do it. Yeah, and so someone who left their like film studies class to come to the escape room with me, plus one other person who my friends who couldn't make the flight, they knew at the convention, they told them about it. And so yeah, I did it with my boyfriend, a fan, and then friend of a friend, and we all met like right before we were doing the escape room or whatever. And so we made it, and it was super fucking, it was the best escape room I've ever done. And I've only done escape rooms outside of Vegas, so the fact that it's in Vegas, when you do something in any sort of entertainment show thing in Vegas is gonna like go a little bit extra. I think a lot of them, anyway. I'm not gonna spoil the entire experience of the escape room. You should do it yourself. But there's like no signage outside that it's the Saw escape room. It's like it's a fake butcher shop. And that's like kind of creepy and cool. They get you to sign these waivers, which are like mostly just intimidation. Like the waivers are a part of the psychological game to make you think that like you could get hurt when you're not going to get hurt doing it. But they had like a timer on the door or whatever, and it wasn't just one room. You made it through like each room to get to the end. And what's really cool about it is they made it so that even if you like suck at escape rooms, and they have a bunch of separate rooms, one leading into the next. You have to figure out how to complete the first room before going into the second or whatever. And what's really cool about it is, if you suck at escape rooms, they eventually just like they'll like give you a hint or just like tell you how. If you can fail a room and still see all the rooms. If let's say you figure out room 1 and then you don't figure out room 2, you still get to see room 3 because after it's like, I don't know, 60 minutes or something, and there's like 6 rooms, so it's like 10 minutes per room or something. So like if you take like way too long on one room, they'll just be like, all right, just go to the fucking next one. And so I think it was 6 rooms. We did 5 out of 6. We failed one of them, and I still don't remember. Like it was just like, I don't know, we couldn't figure out what to do. There was something really convoluted, but the same like sort of like energy that I had for my trip, I channeled all of that, and we did really, really good aside from like one room, and it wasn't the final room. And I shit you not, like so we got to the final room, there's like 10 minutes on the clock. I thought for sure we were like absolutely fucked. I thought for sure we were like literally screwed. I was like, okay, I don't know what to do here. We were like looking around on the walls for like, I'm not going to spoil it, but by the end of it, there's like a key that you have to get from a safe. The last room in the escape room, there were clues that we needed to figure out how to open the safe. And it was like an old ass safe. It was like a actual dial or whatever. And it wasn't just like, like a regular turning the safe. It was like you had to follow instructions on a piece of paper on like how to turn it. It was like special. It was weird. And I shit you not, we did a buzzer beater, and it was so like there were like 10 seconds left where we're like, oh, we finally figured out the safe combination. I was like, I go to the safe. I'm like, tell me that. I was like shouting like, what is the number for that symbol? And they're like, What is the number for that symbol? I'm like, oh fuck. And it was one of those things where like if I didn't do it perfectly on the first try, like we were absolutely like we were done. And it was so stressful. It was like it was the perfect cinematic movie moment. And literally at the last second, I get the safe. I'm like, I get the key and I like toss it, and we literally just buzzer beatered it. There wasn't a buzzer, but I think I think that they said that I think they might have given us an extra second or something. You know, I think I couldn't look at the clock while I was doing it because there was no time to look at the clock. I almost feel like they gave me an extra second because I was like, I didn't even feel like I made it, but yeah, it was cool. And yeah, we made it. That was dope. That was a lot of fun. We went to Momofuku. The server convinced us to do the chef's taster menu. A lot of great stuff there. The only underwhelming thing was like this big, like, I don't know, what was it? Haddock, like a big fish. But yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff there. The Brussels sprouts were amazing. The most interesting, the best thing on the menu there was like tuna. It was like an appetizer, I think. It was like how do I describe this? It was like cubed raw like sashimi kind of tuna, like tiny little cubes. And I think I don't remember if we ate them with a fork or we like dipped them with chips or something. I don't remember. But yeah, that it was like marinated in almost like kind of like some fruit. It was like almost kind of like watermelon or berry, but it was still tuna. And there was something which I never experienced. It was shaved foie gras. So foie gras is a unethical, I mean it's meat, unethical, particularly unethical fatty duck liver or whatever, but it tastes good. And so if I'm on vacation, like I don't know, like once a year I'll like be like, I'm on vacation, I'm at some fancy restaurant, I'll get it, you know. And they had it like it was like it was like really smooth and like it's so difficult to describe, but anyway, it was absolutely delicious. Yeah, it was like kind of like poke, kind of like that, but it wasn't quite. It was very unique. It was its own thing. So yeah, Momofuku, if you're ever there, get the tuna with the shaved foie gras. That was like, whoa, that was really super super cool. That was like a really memorable meal. Right now I'm in a high. I'm not high, but I'm in a energy high because I'm so rushed to get things done. And I've accomplished like 6 things on my checklist today, and I'm going to do the podcast soon, and I think I'm going to fit. Like I said, I like to be able to like be super productive and fit a lot of things in one day. I get in a good energy and a good mood when I'm doing things quickly, and it's all working out miraculously. Anyway, so next story time continues. Jackass 4 we saw at a mall. There were surprisingly like very few people there. There was only like 10 people in the whole theater. It was like the early showing. It was funny movie. I'll do a quickie on it. Not gonna talk too long about that right now. What's my rating? I don't know, 6 or 7. I can't decide. Can't decide between a 6 or a 7. I'm gonna have to think about that later. But I liked it. It was a lot of fun. Would definitely recommend. It's hilarious. It was a riot. It was a great theater experience. And then the rest of that I didn't really have on my notes for what I did the rest of the convention. Maybe I could just go through my message history. Anyway, so yeah, there were some parties at the convention, like room parties. And because it's like a kink convention, like some of these were like pretty explicit. I poked my head in some of them. I was like, oh, interesting. I didn't have sex with anybody but my boyfriend at the convention, if you're wondering. Anyway, but yeah, I find these sorts of things interesting. If there's like a, if there's like a group sex weird thing happening, I kind of like, I'll poke my head in and just be like, oh, interesting. I don't get like weirded out or grossed out by these sorts of things. I might participate into that. Oh yeah, Spencer did get hella snubbed. Thank you for the sub. I might participate in like something like that someday. Anyway, I'm not saying no, and it's not like a bucket list thing. It's not like a, oh, I must do this, or oh, I might not. You know, I don't know. I'm just like, I find it interesting. I'm not like I'm not weirded out by weird sex things at all. I think that society would be better if people had a less repressed and restrictive and emotionally triggered response whenever they hear anything to do with sex. I wish that society wasn't so triggered. I think it would be a better world if people weren't so sexually repressed. Anyway, have fun, enjoy yourself, stay safe, wear a condom, get tested. What did I do on the Friday? I did a bunch of stuff. I'm trying. It's difficult to because I don't have that in my I didn't have that in my notes, so I don't have like as detailed of an account or of the events. So let me just retrace my steps here. I didn't do Fremont until Saturday. What did I? I did. I might have just done. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. What time is? Okay. Yeah. Now I'm remembering. So we did food earlier on the Friday. I poked my head into some weird like orgy and then left. And then, and again, there's people listening to this right now. This should probably be a highlight. It's me, story time. People who don't know, aren't familiar with furries, the orgy is not a part of the convention. That was like a room party, okay? And this is specifically a kink-centered 18-plus furry convention. This is not a normal convention. This is like the type of like convention you would expect to see like a weird sex party at, okay? So I'm just throwing that out there. There's tons of conventions that are like PG, Tons of furries that are asexual. Tons of furries that have, nothing to do with any sort of weird sex stuff, okay? Just throwing that out there. Do they leave doors open? No, you get invites by being cool. Just throwing that out there because some people are confused. They don't know. Did that. Oh shit. Okay. Like I'm just trying. I had a very not PG con experience, and I'm just trying to like think about like what I should filter through. Me and my boyfriend and 3 people that he knew, 3 of his friends. For the rest of the Friday, we kind of just like hung out in a hotel room. Did some drugs. They were doing they were doing acid, and I was kind of like their trip sitter. I was kind of like their YouTube playlist person. Yeah, there was yeah, satire. Okay, if I'm breaking any TO, I'm not breaking TOs. Destiny's talked about his drug use. I don't think it's against TOS. But yeah, it was a super fun time. I did DMT, bro, for the second time in my life. I didn't break through. I don't want to break through. It's not really, I don't know if that's something I really want to do. It seems like, I don't want. Anyway, I experienced some psychedelic hallucination stuff for blah, 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 blah. And I was there with my boyfriend, and I was in a very comfortable environment. And I enjoyed myself, and I think that I hit like a very important milestone of having like the first kind of psychedelic hallucination experience in probably, I don't know, somewhere between 5 to 10 years where I didn't have a really bad trip. And I think that's because I was around someone that I love and trust and just in a good mood and good environment. But yeah, my mood was positive, and that's like a really important milestone for me. Is that I was almost worried that any psychedelics that I would take, I was almost worried that I would like get stuck in a perpetual thought loop that would prevent me from being able to experience any kind of pleasant things like that ever again. So it was nice to experience that and know that it is possible for me to enjoy myself if I'm around the right people. And also, like, DMT is over in like 15 minutes, It's a really low commitment, and that was also part of the reason why I was like, oh, okay, because there wasn't enough acid for me. It was kind of like, which was weird, but I could have taken from the amount of that people were already doing, but I was like, yeah, but if you planned your trips for that amount, I don't want to take away from that. So I was like, no, I would just like I would just re-up. I would just like go back and hit the DMT vape pen. Anyway, so that was a lot of fun. Had a great night. I went to bed before the other people because acid, takes a long time. Oh yeah, and I eventually put on the Wolfpack concert of live in Madison Square Garden that they performed. Vulfpeck. Gotta say that if that's a great thing to put on if you're ever trip setting some people. That was the perfect thing to put on for that. That was really great. That was like such a positive mood concert. Just impressive bopping tunes. Would highly recommend. Yeah, most people in the room were like, "Is dope," you know. Anyway, Saturday. I woke up. Anyway, we found some food. We I don't know, ran some basic errand. I don't remember if there was any like weird commitments early in the day. We did food. Food's important, by the way. Make sure you eat properly at a convention. I had to remind myself to do that because sometimes you're just having so much fun you forget to eat, but then you might not have fun if you forget to eat. Hydrate. Food, very important. We found some food. We went to a very strange and hilarious party on the Saturday. I can't give any details about it. But it was funny and fun. I enjoyed myself. Okay, and then we left that, and then I was like, let's do Fremont. And the biggest reason I wanted to do Fremont is because abstract details? Okay, abstract details. Okay, I'll give that much. There was like within this party there was like public and open masturbation going on as part of like the plan it was like a part of the plan for the party. And it was interesting, and it was anyway. Well, I mean, some people were fucking. It wasn't just masturbation, but so we left that party, and I was like, okay, I want to do Fremont, and I wanted to do Fremont specifically because there's a restaurant that I really liked from the last time I was in Vegas called Therapy. In fursuits? There was a couple in fursuits, but most furries don't have fursuits, by the way. There was a restaurant called Therapy. It's like kind of like a bar. It has like really nice food. I was like, I have to go back there to introduce some people. And I was just going to take my boyfriend. But then all of a sudden, a couple that my boyfriend knows, they really wanted to tag along. I was like, okay, we can do this. As much as I was kind of like, I don't want to have to chaperone around a lot of people that don't know if they're like. It was difficult to get them out of the door. That was my kind of like. No, it was taking like 20, 30 minutes to even like get out into the Uber, and then, he was unprepared. He was like, jacket's too cold, so I gave him my jacket, sort of thing. It was like, anyway, I'm trying to be a good wrangler. We make it to Fremont, which is like old Vegas. And it was perfect at night. There's like this huge like dome light shit thing and like zip lines and like it's super cool. There was a lot of boomers there. Nobody like I would say it was about 50% people not wearing masks indoors. Boomer Vegas. All of the tables and machines were a lot cheaper than the Strip. They were a lot more affordable. So it's like redneck boomer like lower income Vegas, I guess. But it was still really cool. I love Fremont. I think it's super cool. Yeah, don't do Vegas and only just do the Strip. You gotta see Fremont. Anyway, this restaurant Therapy, they have like chicken and waffle sliders, but the waffles are made with like red velvet cake mix. So they're red velvet waffles, chicken and waffles, and they got like syrup and like a little pickle on top, and it was so good. So I loved the food there. And then we shared one of those, and we shared a lobster and crab. What is it called? Grilled cheese. I was gonna say mac and cheese, but that's not what it is. A lobster and crab grilled cheese, and it was so good. And we had some cocktails, and it was crazy because, like, I don't know, I'm 30, boyfriend's 23. The couple that he was with, I don't know, somewhere between 23 and 30. We were like the youngest people in the entire bar, and the music that was playing and the vibe of it seemed like a very younger crowd. So that was like, it was weird that we were like the youngest people there. I was like, what? That was bizarre. And anyway, so we had a lot of fun there. We walked around. We were trying to find like a good like table for gambling for a bit because we wanted to gamble. We wanted to do some poker. We wound up going back to the Strat, lost some money because that's how gambling goes. You lose money. And then I was like, I don't know. I was like really drunk at this point. I was really drunk at this point already in the night. And we get back to the convention hotel. I remember like I was chilling with my boyfriend in the hotel room. Then we make it back outside. There's like this outdoor area with like fireplace and a pool and all that stuff, like outdoor hotel kind of. I don't know what the word is. There's a word for it. And at some point, the one of the members of this couple, this couple that is married couple, one of them comes up to me and my boyfriend and is like talking about like, I don't really want to be around him anymore, sort of thing. Like, I don't think we're the right one. I was like, oh shit. And I was like, I remember that my boyfriend told me about like this couple being like, oh, they're like, they kind of got like a toxic relationship. I was like, uh-oh. And then the other one came over and then was like, oh, what? And it seemed like he had heard like a bit of the conversation. And then that kickstarted a whole thing into like, okay, now this is happening where this married couple is like talking about whether or not they want to be with each other. So then we moved back to my hotel room, and I'm from this point on, I am mediating a conversation between this couple, hearing them out, and it is super fucking obvious to me, and it really fucking sucks. It really fucking sucks because I just want people to be happy, but it's super fucking obvious to me that one of them is really not interested, but he's also super fucking dishonest about it because he'll say he's not interested, and then when he's confronted by the other guy, when he's confronted by that, he's like, "Oh no, but you just like he'll create the guy who really wants to stay in the relationship will create these sort of like, oh, here's your out, like you're just saying this because you're drunk, or you're blah blah blah, or this blah 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 blah, but like won't accept first of all any fault or responsibility, but." And also won't accept like the possibility that they maybe shouldn't be together, or the possibility that he doesn't want to be with you, sort of thing, right? And so the guy that doesn't want to stay in the relationship, instead of being honest and being like, we got to peel this Band-Aid off, we got to, it hurts now, but I just got to say that, he'll take those outs. And he doesn't mean it, and he's got this like cringe on his face. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, fuck, just be honest. And I'm like having this conversation, and I'm going, and it's there was no like yelling, which was nice, but it was kind of like a stressful conversation that I was like mediating. I'm like, no, you got to understand that like your life isn't over if you're not in a relationship anymore. I was doing the thing, and I'm like really drunk, and I'm really talkative when I'm drunk too. And at several points throughout the night, I ran out of alcohol. And I was just like, while I'm doing this conversation, while I'm mediating between this married couple, talking about a divorce and all that shit. Um, I'm just like I'm drinking alcohol like water at this point. Uh, and so I remember going, just being like, "I'll be right back," and then leaving the hotel room and just like slowly walking through the hall and like putting my ear to like some of the doors. And if I heard a group of people, I knocked and I said, "Excuse me, do you have any alcohol I could grab from you?" And they're like, why do you, because I was like, I'm not going to the liquor store, like I gotta go back to that. They're like, why do you need alcohol right now? I'm like, I'm currently mediating a breakup conversation between a married couple about a potential divorce. And they were like, just take it. They were like, you need this more than I do. And I was like, and I just like walked away with like a handful of booze. And I did that twice because the handful of booze was gone in the conversation. And I was mediating, trying to make these, the one guy who clearly doesn't, think he's in love and wants to explore other options, he needs to be fucking honest. The other guy, he needs to accept like that this could potentially end, and so yeah, like it's just like they're both kind of at fault for how this shit's going, and it's like kind of frustrating, kind of stressful. And so that whole thing happened, and I was like, okay. And there was some toxic shit going on too, where it was like it wasn't just like, oh, like there was the one guy who really wanted to stay in the relationship. He was saying he was really kind of like threatening suicide also, which is like totally not cool because you don't want someone to be like trapped in a relationship. And so it's like, okay, well now you can understand like that, the other guy who does want to leave the relationship, now you get why he's like lying to you, right? Like if you're, anyway. So night goes on, the booze in my room's gone, handful of booze from one room's gone. I go back and grab some more, handful of booze, all that's gone. I'm the one basically drinking all of it. At some point in the end of the night, I'm basically blackout drunk. And I'm walking guy who wants to stay into the relationship. I'm walking him back to his hotel. I didn't even know that he was in a different hotel. It's like one of the cheaper hotels. I don't remember. I don't fucking remember. I don't remember deciding to go there. I don't remember going there. I remember being there and just being like, hey, don't fucking kill yourself. Like, come on, don't be stupid. Like, your life isn't over if this particular relationship is over. You need to blah 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 blah. Giving him some like positive vibes to like, getting him into bed and then just being like, okay, like have a good night. At some point on my way back, I guess after I had hit up like a convenience store and bought some like another 6-pack of beer, which I found when I woke up the next day. Yeah, like I'd got more alcohol on the way back. And I don't remember where I was. I was going back to my hotel room. I don't remember where this other hotel was. But yeah, at some point in the night, on the way back, I don't know. My memory is so fucking fuzzy at this part, and that's kind of actually scary about it too. Is because I was that drunk that like only these like super hyper moments of like extremeness, I don't know, like those are sticking out in my mind. Anyway, there was some people that tried to fucking abduct me. There was like, I don't know if it was a white vehicle. It could have been a white truck or it could have been a white van. I think it was a white truck. But there were like three people. There were like three, at the very least two, maybe three people, and I'm pretty sure they must have been like at least like late 30s or something. But I don't know. Because I have such self-doubt in my own memories when I'm sober. I'm like, oh, well, maybe I could have been wrong about this. The same approach that I take to like things like Kimba or whatever, where I'm like, I believe in introspection and questioning yourself. So like a moment like this where I'm already like, okay, well, I was drunk. Like, how reliable can my memory be? But they were trying to get me into their fucking vehicle. And I don't think we made contact. It wasn't like I had to wrestle them off or anything, but they were like fucking following me. They were following me around. and I was like trying to like walk and get away, and they were like, "Hey, come." I don't remember if they specifically said to get close to their truck or if they flat out said, "Hey, get in my truck." But they were trying to like get me close to them, and they were like I slowly driving with me like while I was walking, um while I was trying to get back to my hotel room. Clearly they had spotted me being alone, probably drunk. Maybe I fell at some point earlier. There's bruises on, I don't know. There's a bunch of bruises on my legs, so maybe I fell. Maybe they just spotted it. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it was a human trafficking thing. I don't know if they were just planning on mugging me. Like, it could have been any number of things. But that was really fucked up. And I eventually, like, I remember running away. They followed me for a long time. They followed me for a while. And, yeah, maybe they thought I was a girl with my hair or something. Like, and then, like, maybe they didn't, like, commit to it once they realized I was, like, a, like, taller dude. Anyway, yeah, that was kind of fucked up. That was, like, a little scary. And I wasn't scared in the moment. I was only kind of scared once I, like, came back and processed, like, what had happened.
Yes. That scary animal poaching ain't no joke.
Thank you. But yeah, I was, like by myself, blackout drunk in Vegas, trying to, like, get back to my hotel room, and just, like, fucking I was, like, there were people that were trying to take advantage of me in some way or the other, and I never found out in what way they would have, and I'm kind of glad I didn't. Hopefully it wouldn't have ended in me, like, getting pulled into their fucking I mean, why else would they want me to get in their truck? Like, clearly they were going to try and drive me somewhere. Like, that's really fucked up. Like, and the only reason, like, I didn't file a police report is because, like, I don't even know if it was, like, a truck or a van. Like, that's how shitty my memory is about this. Like, I don't, like, were they white? I kind of remember, like, one guy's face. I don't know, right? Like, that's fucked up. And then yeah, like, that was kind of like a surreal, weird thing that happened, and it didn't ruin my trip. But yeah, that was kind of fucked up. And then, yeah, next day, super fucking hungover as fuck the next day. That was the Sunday, so that was the day before my plane ride back. And I had a COVID test booked so I could get back into my country. It was booked for like 2 p.m. and I'm so glad I didn't book it for earlier, because it was so tough for me to get out, like, into the world even at 2. I was still drunk. At 2 p.m. the next day. It was one of those hangovers. Like, I wasn't even hungover. I was just drunk. I woke up drunk. Go to my COVID test. There was nobody there, surprisingly. It was just like I was the only person at my COVID test. Found a good barbecue place. There was when I was doing registration, when I registered for the con, one of the people working there was, like, a big fan and was like, "Oh, let me add your thing and I'll we can hang out at some point during the con." I'm like, you know, like, I don't know if I can I don't commit to, like, hang out with someone that I don't know. But you know, I said, like, no promises, but maybe. And so on that day I was like, okay, well, whatever. I'm just looking for food right now. This is a relaxing day. I told him, like, okay, well, me and my boyfriend are going to go to this barbecue place. I found a barbecue place close by. And yeah, there was, like, a Bloody Mary with some ribs that yeah, it was delicious. There was a lot of fucking meat. We couldn't finish our ribs. We had to pack them up and, like, wrap them in his bag. And then I just decided, you know what? We're really close to Omega Mart. Let's fucking do Omega Mart. And this fan joined us, but I didn't realize, because maybe I'm just, like, not perceptive, and also I was still drunk, and I was already, like, I was back into the booze again just to try and not have a hangover. No booze today, by the way, because I'm back. What's Omega Mart? I'm about to tell you. It's an art exhibition in a place called Area 15 in Vegas, and it's a fake but also real supermarket where they have fake products that you can buy I'm actually gonna grab. I bought one thing. I'll bring it right now. So the whole aesthetic of the place is basically like it's like another dimension, almost kind of like a Rick and Morty thing. Also, I forgot to mention one thing about the previous bit, the almost being abducted story. There's one part of my memory that I wanted to mention. As I was running away from them, I was laughing my ass off. I guess perhaps the alcohol was giving me like an overinflated sense of confidence, or maybe it was exactly on par with what it should have been. Maybe that's why they didn't like abduct me. But yeah, I remember like shouting back, not shouting, but like with this tone of voice, I guess. Just being like, "No, I'm not coming near you." And not I didn't give away that I was intimidated, and I don't know if I actually was intimidated in that moment because I was kind of drunk. But, I guess there was like there were conflicting things happening in my psyche and my body. So I knew I was in danger enough to not go near them and being like, no, I'm not fucking stupid, right? I knew I was in danger enough to eventually be running away from them back to my hotel, like literally running with my bag full of beer and shit. But at the same time, emotionally, I wasn't, perhaps, I don't know, maybe it's like adrenaline or something, or just I wasn't processing it yet. But like, yeah, I was like laughing as I was running away. Maybe I just thought it was hilarious that it happened. Maybe I just thought I was like, ah, fuck, of course this would happen to me. But I remember laughing as I was running away. Just thinking it was like hilarious. Oh yeah, anyway, so I was kind of like just thinking about how fucked up it was while we were at the barbecue place the next day on the Sunday. And I sent out a tweet saying, yo, shout out to human traffickers, which is like the most obviously not serious thing that someone could possibly, like, what, you think I support human traffickers? And then people were like responding in my fucking tweets saying like, whoa, Adam, really? Like they were taking it like really seriously. And it was like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, really? I'm like, I'm hungover. I just wanted to like make a little joke. And so then I had to respond to the tweet saying like, hey, I don't know if like I accidentally commented on some sort of like current event. I don't think I did. So sorry if I did, but I almost some people tried to abduct me last night, and I was making a joke because comedy is my way of processing things, and it wasn't meant to be serious. And I was like, I'm kind of mad that I even had to like say that. I'm kind of upset that anybody would have taken that seriously. That's really fucked up. And then I got like a text from my aunt being like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh fuck, my aunt follows my Twitter." Shit. So that was annoying. Anyway, we went to Omega Mart, which is basically like a Rick and Morty thing without Rick and Morty. It's like a weird alternate dimension supermarket, and the employees there are like they're all kind of like acting and in on it, and it's kind of weird. And you're they'll say things like, "Oh, you'll never leave," or something like that. I don't know. But it was kind of cool, and they had like a bunch of fake products that are like also real that you can buy. A lot of the canned products, you're just buying an empty can, and it's like the label's the joke. I found this one really funny, so I bought it. It's okay, we're gonna try and get the focus. Focus. Hello. Anyway, it says nut-free salted peanuts, 100% salt. I thought that was funny, and it's literally just a thing of salt. And I was like, I actually need some salt anyway. So I'm sorry this doesn't focus properly. Yeah, it was funny. And they have like this weird lore where you can ask an employee for like a key card, and then you like activate them on certain things, and then you'll like unlock. There's like a storyline that you can do, which was cool for a bit, but after a while it just became so fucking exhausting. I'm like, I'm not gonna click on every computer. But yeah, there's like a bunch of secret doors, and there's a lot of trippy shit there's like a strobe light room that is just like absolutely insane. Yeah, it was like really, really cool. I talked about Army of the Dead on my podcast. Thank you. I didn't make a full video on it, but I ranted about it on my podcast, Sardonicast. So look that up. Thank you. But yeah, there's like, that was a whole vibe. That was a whole vibe. I would highly, highly recommend Omega Mart for just like a last day of your trip sort of thing. I think it was perfect that we just like sort of just decided to do it that day, and you didn't have to like book in advance. You kind of just showed up, and we just wandered around from like, yeah, we were there for like hours and hours, and it was fun. And yeah, the fan that was there with us was still around, but he has a disability, and it's difficult for him to walk. So we found him a wheelchair, and then I was pushing him around, and because I was so hungover, I almost was like, So then my boyfriend pushed him around for most of it, and that was nice. And so, yeah, we did that, and then we found a place in Area 15 that does like indoor golf, where it's like a projector screen, and then there's like a like a sensor that detects how hard you're hitting the ball, and then it does this weird, like, it's like you're playing a video game. But it was so shitty. It was like, no matter how hard you hit it in the screen, it went like beep. It was like the weakest fucking thing ever. It was so inaccurate. It was really annoying. And then they had shuffleboard there. We tried shuffleboard, and the fucking the table was crooked. So like, if you were anywhere to the right of center, it would always fall off to the right. We had one shot where it was literally like, this is the board. It was like, and it stopped and then slid off the right. I was like, what the fuck? You have two. This bar offered two things: the golf and the shuffleboard, and both of them were just no. This was not in Omega Mart. It's not intentional. This was not in Omega Mart. We had left Omega Mart by this point. They had other things. There was another place. They had axe throwing, a lot of cool shit. We didn't do the axe throwing. We did the other thing, but yeah. And then, had an early night. Caught the flight the next morning. Obviously, I'm COVID negative to get back in the country. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made it back here, which is really, really good, because my old laptop, that I used to edit everything with, I brought it with me on the trip in case I got stuck down there and like caught COVID or something, just so I could still work while I'm gone. Just be like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. I can just keep working here. So I brought my old laptop. I don't want to bring my new laptop because A, it's bigger. B, it was so fucking expensive. I don't want someone to steal it. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to think about that. I'm leaving it here for like the next few years at least, or whatever. So I brought my old laptop with me, and it wouldn't turn on. I tried turning it on during the trip when I was like, I was going to bring it to the, while I was trip sitting, so we didn't have to put in buttons earlier, one at a time in the remotes. It wouldn't fucking turn on. So if I got stuck in Vegas with COVID, I wouldn't have been able to get anything done unless I bought like a new computer or some shit, which I can't really afford right now. So yeah, I don't know what the hell happened. Flew in yesterday. Whew, really low energy, got some shit done. Woke up today after a bunch of sleep and some weird dreams that I had last night. Some very bizarre dreams. Probably because I ate spicy food before bed, but I had really weird dreams that I was like inside a sequel to the film Hausu, and it was like so much more fucked up. And I was like, oh god, these effects are like so much better. It was like in a meat grinder or something. It was like so bizarre. Anyway, yeah, woke up today. I had a call scheduled for 2 p.m. About another project that I'm working on that I vaguely mentioned here that I can't really say much about, but it was a project. It's a filming project thing, but I had to call someone, a scheduled call at 2 p.m. But I woke up at like, I don't know, like 11 or noon or something, and I was like, ah, shit, there's other things I got to get done today. I got to drop off my laptop at a repair place because my laptop's fucked, so I did that. I did that really quickly. I got to pick up a package from the post office because the post, I was out of town, and they left a slip at my door. I was like, okay, I got to do that. I have to go to the grocery store, grab some fruit because now that I'm back, I'm going to try and go back, be strict on my diet. I'm drinking water today, no alcohol. I'll do a bunch of fruit, vegetable mukbang later or whatever. And so there, I was like, fuck, I got to do all these things and then come back and do the phone call today. So I ran around town, drove, got all those things done very efficiently in a good order. Came back, put my groceries in the fridge, filled up a thing of water, had my phone call, literally like basically out of breath, like cutting it that close. Checked my emails, responded to some things that I needed to, that were, desperately needed my attention, but I was away for a week. Now we're streaming. I'm going to work on the podcast. And that was my whole trip. At some point in our acid trip night, we, like, next door, there was like a baby fur room where, like, people had, like, soothers in their mouths. And, like, there was, like, a wall full of diapers. And I was like, oh, interesting. That's, like, not my thing at all. But we went in there. It was like, ooh, cool. And it wasn't, I probably, like, if there were things happening in there where it was like, if people were like saying, like, talking like babies, I probably would have left. But there wasn't really any of that happening. It was like they were just watching Bluey. And it was just people were like hanging out and like eating snacks. And then, but one of these people, I shit you not, Maddie from Euphoria?
Can you not be a cunt for like 15 seconds?
What are you doing for dinner?
Dad, stop being a pervert. We're literally like all naked.
There was a girl there that looked and sounded like her. It wasn't her. It wasn't like the actress or anything. But there was a girl that reminded me so much of Maddie from Euphoria. Just the way she talked and like how she looked, it was just like, holy shit. It was so and she was dressing for like most of the con. She had like all pink and like really sexually suggestive clothing, to the point where like the first day I saw her, like one of the things she told me was like, yeah, I got like honked at by like a bunch of different dudes, and they like, some of them were like, thought I was a prostitute. I was like, oh, I mean, but she was chill. It was cool. I wish I hung out with her more, but it was just, it was very jarring. It was very jarring to have, because it almost seems like she doesn't belong there. That's like, that's not the stereotypical furry. It's really not. But, furry is becoming more of like a subculture that, like 20 years ago, it was just people that use Linux. And now it's like, oh, just a bunch of queer people and some weird, just a bunch of young queer people. Anyway, I forgot to mention that. I just thought it was worth mentioning.
Hey guys, it's February 2022, so let's go over my current $5 and up patrons. Big Weld from Robots the Animated Movie, Speak of the Joker, Yup, Caden Mack, Andre Philippe, Butt Rock, Charisma, The Super One Player, Dwyer Tarantino, Jacob Arndt, Zachary Kane, Samjul, Chi.exe, Gothic Sith, Mandel Bro, Kel Hunt, Wales, Bo the Doggo, Kai Butcher, Gabriel Herrera, Hoofy Doe, Ocean Machinery, and Malav Shah. Stay safe.